But a lot of this comes back to customers. We react to customers, and customers start this, and it seems to me, I mean, what you're talking about in your construction business, you're out there because you're doing these changes because you almost have to get the job. There's a competitive pressure, and that's reflecting itself back up in the channel.
Well, we really got into the kind of the green space because one of our senior managers has a tilt towards that and a passion, and I too have hope for the future generations. My son's a dreamer, living the dream, quite frankly, out in Boulder, Colorado, going to school and skiing for a living. But you know,
it's great that parents provide college educations to children.
But be careful what you ask for. You know, whenever you get into a business that's new and is, quite frankly, supported by the government, you've got a lot of people that are chasing government money, and there's a lot of bad receivables out there. So we've experienced a lot of that. We've installed more car chargers in the city of Chicago than anybody. We've only got paid for about half of them. So be careful.
Wow. Is this happening more on the residential and commercial, or is it on the industrial side? Where are the customer expectations changing? I mean, is it, for you guys all play in different bits and pieces, is the industrial customer changing? Or is that more stable?
Yeah, I think certainly the industrial customers changing. The OEMs are looking for MMS management systems inside their businesses that are built in there by the distributor, collaborated with by the manufacturer. The industrial end user is probably going more into an online buying world. As soon as the attributed data is out there and available to them and the pricing set up, there's a lot of efficiency in that. So I think they're changing. And we talk about 10 years out. One of the things that and I guess we're going to get into it, but it's not to sound cliche, but this is a people business, and it's the people that you bring into this business are what is going to create your future to survive it. And technology is technology, and battery packs are battery packs, and new products are new products. But if you attract the right people and align them with your values, you can build a business from any size.
Well, as the oldest guy on the panel, when I sort of came into this, it was the way you learned a product is you worked on a counter, and you couldn't really be a distributor sales guy until you'd worked in a warehouse. And there's this whole thing about kind of working yourself up the food chain, and that dog's dead. I mean, I mean, part of the problem is you get guys like me that are going out looking to hire young people, and I mean, the stereotype, this was another bar conversation, one of the problems with the young, they all want to come in and they all want to be CEO in a year, and it just, so what have you folks done to be able to attract these young people that look at it different, that are the dreamers in Boulder?
I'll take a little bit of exception to that, because I still feel that at least from our seat at the table, the field knowledge that you can get by working out in the field, getting your hands dirty with the boots on, is a better education than you can get at a graduate school by far in our industry, because you understand spatial relationships, which don't come from working on an AutoCAD 3D model or from an estimating system. Our issue is that people trust too much what comes out of the system. It's just, if it comes out of a computer, the estimate must be right, and we've lost that hands-on talent, and we're trying to get back there. We've established a training program in our company where we actually rotate people, even if they come out of college, we rotate them through a stint in the field, because we feel that's just really important. I mean, that's what we do.
I personally think that's a wonderful thing, but people tell me I'm an old guy.
Yeah, no, we're doing the same thing. We're hiring several kids right out of school or out of the service, and putting them into a couple year training program. But they get exposed to the warehouse. We try and put them with a contractor for a couple months in experience with a contractor's experience, or with a manufacturer or a sales agency to kind of understand that side of the business. And the challenge we've had probably more than anything is the young people we've seen today aren't quite as willing to move or relocate maybe as they once were, or our generation once was.
Brian, you got to go through a lot of people in your organization.
Yeah, definitely, and I agree with what Walt said. I mean, one of my observations, even though it's a very short window, people always ask me what's different about electronics versus electrical. Well, one of the things that really seems to be the same is that from a distribution standpoint, it's really a people business. Right? We don't have patents, we don't have big factories, we basically have people, and the relationship is enormously important, and the ability to serve and anticipate customers' expectations and deliver on them and be committed to high levels of service is really important. And we have to work hard to make this to be an exciting industry for young people to want to join. There's a lot of choices out there right now, and the ideas that we think about the rotation, and in many of our businesses you do start on the counter and you work your way through and you learn the products, and that's a really powerful message. But we have to find solutions that give people a great vantage point, great exposure, and to David's point, people won't move, anymore. So the idea of picking people up and moving them across the country it's possible, but it's not as likely as it was 10 or 15 years ago. So we have training centers, we bring in young talent, we rotate them around. All at the same time, I mean, some of the new, for me, seeing it, I mean, for instance, some of our more complex products, we need software expertise, right? We need technical support around software. We don't have a lot of people in the business now that know software. So we have to bring that talent in and create an environment where not only can they deliver, expectations, but they can thrive and feel excited about being there and being in an industry.
And we find ourselves recruiting new types of people too, because to Walt's point earlier, we become probably closer connected to our manufacturer than we ever were in the past. And there's some expectations from the manufacturer for us to carry some of the load that maybe we didn't carry in the past. So we find ourselves each year waking up with a bunch more specialists that we didn't employ the year before.
And how well do the specialists play with the guys that grew up on the counter?
That's the challenge.
If you take a look at the things that we're talking about now, I mean, these have all been different subjects, and the industry's got part of it right. I think NAED's taken a pretty big lead on the education piece in terms of the knowledge. Where's this industry, in your views, still in the dark ages? I mean, what haven't we gotten right?
Well, I think there's a very traditional mindset, and it starts with our manufacturers, and it starts with the way they hire and develop their culture. The opportunity in the future, and it's not so much that these young millennials want to come in and be CEO or don't want to earn their stripes. They just want to do it on their terms. And really, I think of it as it's not so much a something that is a threat or something that we're in the dark ages and the next generation's coming. I mean, it's human evolution. It's workforce evolution. They don't want to separate their life from work. They want to get up and live life. Where we used to wake up, we go to work so we can go live life. These kids that come in today, it's part of their life, what they do. And they want a workplace environment that's comfortable. They want to be able to go to the dog park at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and come back to work at 7 o'clock at night. And that's part of where, where we got to look at that. And what happens to productivity and efficiency and effectiveness of your organization? Does it go up? Does it go down? And there are companies in the world today that have a competitive advantage by attracting these people into their business with these type of work environments. So I think we have to look at it, and I think our manufacturers have to look at it. I think our manufacturers have to continue to think about being less of a traditionalist and more of because in 10 years, these are going to be the managers and the people that are the up-and-comers in your business.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you simply cannot define the terms of the experience. You have to have the experience to attract the talent. And I think that's true at every level. We have a university recruitment program, and we hire 150 to 200 engineers every year. And I was in a panel like this, and we were answering questions, and one of them asked, and I've stolen his line. And he said, so we're talking about connectivity and supply chain, and he said, so let me get this straight. You're telling me that when I order my pizza, I know when it shows up, but when your customers order a couple of $1 million of your stuff, they have no idea where it is. interesting observation. You
Kind
should
of
come work
shuts you
for
down
us.
hard, doesn't it? Wow. As you were saying that, I was thinking about my Domino's Pizza app on my phone. So, yeah.
Real quick, I think one thing the past 6 years has changed is everybody's been playing too much defense. I think it's time we get back, step into the plate, start taking some swings, start taking some risks and being willing to fail as you work with partnerships, with contractors. Just be open, honest, and communicate effectively about what you're trying to do. And I hate to use the word think outside the box, but we got to do something differently because it's just everybody's cut back, everybody downsized, and with that comes responsiveness. And I think it's time to invest in our businesses and take some chances.
Well, the interesting thing, if you think about the subjects we've talked about here, and I know this is going to sound a little bit goofy, but if I'm a manufacturer and I want to get out of the box and do something, I need to have a distributor that I can at least trust and co-invest with. And if I'm a distributor, it goes both ways, and customer. And sometimes, I won't say sometimes, I'll say it straight. A lot of times negotiation and everybody beating each other up gets in the way of actually that kind of collaboration. So, I mean, not that I want anybody to talk about, because I want you continuing to speak as industry insiders, even if you've got some new perspectives. But how do people pick the partners to actually go do one of those experiments? How much trust do you need? Anybody got it?
We'd love to, we've got a good partner here in Schneider and Square D locally. There's a guy, Ray Madden, who's been calling on us. Hopefully he's in the crowd, maybe not, but for 20 years. But everybody knows Ray, everybody loves Ray, everybody trusts Ray. So trust is something that's earned, I get that. But, we're looking for innovative solutions. We're looking for somebody to come in and say, hey, this is something we're going to do in the marketplace, and not just business as usual. So
you're saying if he came to you and said, we got this left field deal that we think it's going to work, would
take
you
a shot? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm aggressive. I don't love change for the sake of change, but I love trying new things. And I mean, you look back, Fortune 500 companies, 80% of them from 1950 to today don't exist, right? So you always got to adapt, right? And so I'm willing to take a couple chances, take my, calculated risks, and try new things.
Go ahead.
That kind of got everybody going.
From my perspective, so the notion of partnership is going to be, it's extremely important today. It'll be even more important in the future. As product life cycles shrink, technology gets more complex, solutions require more collaboration. It becomes more than just a hardware play with labor and value added and solutions and potentially software. It's going to be the speed to get those new products to market is going to shrink, and suppliers and distributors are going to have to partner at a deeper and higher level and in a more narrow way and take bigger risks together to get those solutions to market in a timely fashion to really win. And the industry is built on relationship and partnership. That's the good news. I see it becoming more accentuated in the future.
It's pretty tough to see somebody taking a big risk when everybody's still got to make that quarterly number, and that sales incentive bogey that you got to hit to get your bonus seems to almost get in the way of taking that risk.
Yeah, being publicly traded, that end of quarter time period is always a fun. It's always a fun time, Michael.
So, well, I guess it's risk sharing, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, David's right. I mean, you can't win in this game without taking chances. Hopefully, you take 12 chances and you only need 10 of them to hit to win. But you better get out there and to his point, take a swing.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of inefficiency in the supply chain still. The supply chain works really, really well when you're collaborative and you do spend time really understanding each other's businesses. And it's important for the contractor customer to understand what's important for the distributor, and it's important for the distributor to understand what's important to the manufacturer. And like I said earlier, I mean, I think the successful companies are the ones that are going to realize you're going to take much more of a stake in each other's businesses. And we've done that since we've existed. And there's a lot of distributors that do that. Just another way of saying, value add, but it's an understanding of, I understand exactly what he needs me to do, and I got to go figure out if I can do it and still survive it, and make sure that my competitors don't start giving it away when they learn that I'm doing it for him.
Yeah, there's a competitive advantage thing there too, where you've got to be pretty secretive.
Well, and we understand as a distributor, we understand our place in the market. I think we understand our place in the market. To Brian, we haven't made anything as long as Shealy Electrical has been around for 75 plus years. So we pick our manufacturing partners, and we're careful to who we pick, and we prefer more exclusive or selective relationships than a broad relationships where we can partner and put together solutions and things that make a difference in the market. So we're willing to take a chance because they take a chance on us, and we understand our responsibility to give manufacturers growth each and every year.
Well, it helps a lot if you're going to take risk and co-invest with each other. So it kind of moves more into the value added rather than just the transaction piece as it goes.